Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is Ukraine. Pretty much, it looks like a peace deal is going to be happening. Now it is up in the air. We don't know on how true this is, but it seems like there is going to be a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. And that is a good thing, and we are hoping that it all goes through, and it's all great and dandy. Now, obviously, there's some other reports that have to be going through here, and all that. And I understand that I haven't been reporting as much. I'll try to get back after this Thanksgiving week and all that. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah. So without further ado, we have this here. Ukraine agrees to the U.S. brokered peace deal report. Ukraine has reportedly agreed to the Trump administration's proposed peace plan to bring an end to the war that began when Russia invaded their nation in 2022. ABC News reports that U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll held secret talks with Russia on Monday after weekend talks in Geneva with Ukraine. An official told ABC that the Ukrainians have agreed to the peace deal. There are some minor details to be sorted out, but they have agreed to a peace deal. Those Monday meetings were in Abu Dhabi, which I think that's you would pronounce that. I apologize if I butcher it entirely. Though neither Ukraine nor Russia confirmed that their representatives were in the United Arab Emirates holding meetings. In the UAE, for the U.S. were Marco Rubio, Driscoll, and Steve Witkoff. On Monday night, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky delivered an address saying that the peace plan that emerged over the weekend would need more work. Now, I'm going to explain on to why this may be. He's probably saying that. It's because, let's make this a buck 50, guys. Russia has all the leverage and Ukraine does not. It's not that U.S. does not have leverage. I mean, I'm pretty sure if we said, like, okay, if you don't agree with this, we're just going to go to war. But President Trump is not going to do that. So the reason why Russia has more leverage over Ukraine is because, well, they're a vastly bigger country than they are. They have vastly more resources. The only reason why Ukraine was even able to remotely stay in power or even fight off was because of U.S. aid for the past 2-3 years, thanks to the Biden administration. So Russia will not end, and the reason why this will not end, with specifically with Ukraine, is because, well, Vladimir Putin does not, or not Vladimir Putin, but Putin in general does not want to have bad face. He just has to seem powerful and strong. So unless the Ukraine says, okay, we're gonna give you parts of our land, Russia just won't end, and that's pretty much it. I mean, that's the reason why Zelensky is saying, like, it needs more work, because Ukraine wants more out of the peace deal from it. Like, they just want to not sacrifice anything, but Ukraine doesn't have any authority or power to do so. They have no leverage here. Russia said that they had not received any updates about what had been discussed in Geneva and what revisions had been made following the talks between the U.S. and the Ukrainian officials. U.S. Army spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Tolbert said on Tuesday that late Monday and throughout Tuesday, Secretary Driscoll and team have been in discussions with the Russian delegation to achieve a lasting peace in Ukraine. The talks are going well and remain optimistic. Secretary Driscoll is closely synchronized with the White House and the U.S. intelligence as these talks progress. The original proposal, a 28-point plan, has now been revised down to a 19-point plan, per ABC. That plan included provisions for Ukraine to cede some of the land to Russia, as I said before, gained during the war, as well as the shrinkage of Ukraine's armed forces. That later point, along with a point on the issue of amnesty regarding acts committed during the war, has reportedly been removed from the plan. European leaders have also concerns about the loss of land for Ukraine, which they believe rewards Russia's aggression, and the limitations placed on the size of Ukraine's armed forces. Ukraine would also never be permitted to join NATO under the plan. Now, here's the thing that I have with this, guys, and kind of like why I have an issue kind of with this point of thinking, right? This is from ABC, right? And honestly, let me put this into a way that people need to understand, because when it comes to life and reality and things like this, you don't always get what you want. When you are the loser, or when you are in the losing side of the hand, you have less leverage than the person that is winning. And what that was there is an emotional appeal to say, like, oh, it's not fair or right that just because they were the aggressor, or just because Russia is the aggressor, that they should win everything. Well, okay, that's true, I don't want Russia to get anything at all either. To make that 100% 50. I don't think that Russia should get anything. I think Russia, at least not necessarily the people, but the government, specifically Putin, is absolutely terrible and they shouldn't receive anything. However, that's not how the real world works, all right? The real world works by the mere fact of whoever's more stronger than you and wins is the victor, and they get to get all the spoils. That's just the reality. Though when you came down to older medieval times, you had it to where the victors, like the Vikings, etc., got all the women. The women were the spoils, and that has been a thing for ages or for millennia now, for throughout human history. And what we have to understand is that not everything is fair in this life. It is pretty much that's the reality, and we cannot just go on to this reality. It's like it's either you face that reality and try to deal with the consequences that come beforehand, that come afterwards, or not face with reality and meet your own destruction. Because again, if Ukraine doesn't meet this reality, they'll be destroyed. So again, this is kind of the thing that people do with it's kind of emotional appeal. It's a very feminist, or not really feminist, but a very woman or female tactic to where female tactic that women do to try to make you emotional appeal to make you feel some kind of way, and it works very well for women, but it does not work very well for men. And it's for some men too, because sometimes men are more under the emotion. But I understand the reality of the gravity of the situation. I don't like that this is happening. I don't think Ukraine should technically sacrifice everything, but again, at the end of the day, that's what they're going to have to do because they're at the losing end. And now what we have here is just the reality of everybody having to bite that bullet. So again, we have this here for more stuff relating to this, right? Is that again that a lot of these things is an issue, right? And we're gonna go over this a few things of some of these people talking about this as well, because some people I'm gonna address some of these things because it kind of does need to be said a little bit here. So we'll see on all of this, right? Because I kind of want you guys to get all this in hand. So we have this here from Christian Collins, and they're going to be talking about this a little bit here of the situation. So without further ado, let's go.
That Ukraine has agreed to a deal to end the war with Russia. Only minor details remain. They said, quote, the Ukrainians have agreed to the peace deal. There are some minor details to be sorted out, but they have agreed to a peace deal. That is a huge deal. We should just know. I think full stop. That is a huge deal if Ukraine is actually backing this plan.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree. I think that Trump is the president of peace, and I'm going to be glazing him a little bit here, but he is the president of peace. He is trying to. He's ended more wars than he has started. Now I don't know what's going to happen with the Venezuela thing. I hope to God we don't go to war with them because I really don't want to. Although to me it'd be the most justified war because they're actually hurting our people. But again, I don't want to go to war with them. And we have this here. Ukraine has agreed to a peace proposal with Russia brokered by President Trump's team. This is monumental. The Trump might really pull it off. Then we can have this war behind us. Yes.
Some breaking news coming in moments ago. We are learning into CNN from a U.S. official that Ukraine has agreed to a peace proposal with Russia, saying only, quote, minor details are outstanding. Now, this as Ukraine's President Zelensky, though, says that more work needs to be done. Adding to the nuance here, in a post on X, Ukraine's National Security Secretary writes that the delegations had, quote, reached a common understanding on the core terms of the agreement discussed in Geneva. Overnight, a new wave of deadly strikes exchanged between Russia and Ukraine. At least 7 people were killed in Ukraine, 3 in Russia. So the war grinds on regardless. And now, do you have some?
It almost sounds like this woman is sad that it's ending because they just don't get the news coverage that they wanted, and it is terrible. And I'm hoping that all this comes to an end, right? Like all this it comes to an end and we can move on to better pastures. We can focus more on our own country because let's be honest here, guys. When the wars end across the world, it means we have more focus on our country and what's best for us. And that's just the reality. And hopefully this comes to fruition. Uh, uh, and of course, we have Rhino Republican here, Mitch McConnell, hating this because, of course, he would be hating this. He's just a decrepit, old, senile man that just loves war.
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
That's
Come on. Come on.
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator Benny.
okay.
Somebody else have a question? Please speak.
Yeah, see, this is what we're talking about here, with, it is crazy. But granted, this is something that already have happened again, by the way. This is something that already released before. But, yeah, but, again, this is the insanity that we have here with Mitch McConnell just being a fool. But, nonetheless, we can all be happy that the war in Ukraine is looking like it's coming to an end. We can all thank Donald Trump, and now the leftists are going to cry and complain about it, and that will be it. So, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, take care, my friends.